This episode is brought to you by Spas and More.
I just believe in the power of healing and restoration. And I know that if we can just come together and speak about the hard things, we can finally begin to heal. So, this is where we heal.
This is another episode of This Is Where We Heal. Today, I have the beautiful, extraordinary Christina Galbato. It is Galbato, correct?
Yes.
Okay, wasn't sure if I was pronouncing that right, but she and I have been following each other for a while now. She actually found me online, and then I found her, and we are both just girlies that are healing and finding our way through life and want to see other women do the same. But your work is beautiful, and I love it, and I've seen so many things that you've posted that really hit home for me, so I just know they're going to hit home for my guests too.
But thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Your story is really beautiful. And I remember when I saw your reel, maybe, 6 months or something ago. I can't remember. A while ago. It just it really hit me in the heart and made me, emotional. And I just love how open you are about your story online. You're helping so many people. It takes so much courage to be vulnerable about difficult things you've been through. And I know that carries me through sharing my moments is the impact. So.
That's exactly. I almost cried already. Gosh, we just got started and I'm like,
I cry once a day, so I'll probably cry at some point.
Yeah, I get at least one good cry in a day. Yeah, exactly. If I don't, it builds up and then it's like a burst, But 100%. No, thank you so much for saying that, and I appreciate that. And honestly, that's been the most beautiful thing for me. And we got to get into your story too, but that moment of realization that my vulnerability is going to help other people learn that it's okay to be vulnerable too is honestly what gave me the courage. Because
100%.
so much of social media, and this, is we're trying to look our best, and that's normal. And we're so harsh on people, and they're like everything's fake and looks perfect, and it's like we as humans, it's hard to be open and raw and honest. Like we're afraid of judgment. It's human, right?
Yeah.
But the more we learn that, actually, the good things are just as valuable as the hard things, the more we can put it out there and let other people realize, okay, it's okay. I don't have to put everything perfect online. It doesn't have to be perfect. And people will resonate with my story when I'm open and honest. So with that said, let's talk about your story and your rock bottom and all the things and who you are now. And I'm just going to let you go. You just go.
Girl. I mean, there's so many, you're like my story. There's so many different paths that I could take this down. I think what's interesting to me is that I've had a couple of rock bottoms, I would say. The first one that I experienced was with sobriety. So I've struggled with alcohol addiction and substance abuse my entire life. And I've been sober for over 4 years now. And
congratulations. I did not know that part.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I've been in recovery for over 4 years. So that was sort of like a lifelong, struggle and internal battle and all of that. And probably my first, I'm not sure how familiar you are with recovery, but I don't even want to say it was a rock bottom when I finally got sober, but it was sort of like this moment, an internal knowing that it had to happen. And I tried many times to moderate, to get sober, and it just was not sticking. And so the moment that it finally, stuck for the long term, I believe is kind of a divine intervention situation. So that was, probably the first biggest struggle that I had. And that led me down, over 5 years at this point of therapy and EMDR and somatic healing. And, because as you know, it's these things that we struggle with in life, whether it's alcohol addiction or, toxic abusive relationships, they are ultimately a symptom for something deeper that's happening within us. And so that kind of led me down a journey of healing and discovering what I was trying to numb and what I was trying to avoid. Feel free we can dive into that story, because then my next rock bottom was more recently, 9 months ago, and really, really transformed everything about myself, my life, and made kind of the alcohol addiction thing very small compared to kind of what I
Yeah.
went through.
I
So,
mean, obviously, like, I'm not I've never struggled with alcohol, but like you said, addiction is addiction, and it can look a million different ways, and the recovery process is really similar and all of those things. It truly is about getting really
mhm,
honest with yourself and looking at yourself in the mirror and going, "Okay, what in me feels like I need this to survive?" Right? What am I trying to hide? What am I trying to suppress? And that is honestly for me in my own personal life, that was my rock bottom when I was able to finally get really brutally honest with myself that I am the culprit here. I
yeah,
can blame everything out here, but all of these patterns are coming from in here. And until I get really brutally honest with myself about, okay, what are these patterns? Why am I doing these things? Why does this lesson keep coming back? I couldn't
mhm,
change anything. And it's hard because then you go, okay, I don't love myself. That
yeah,
hurts. I don't think I'm worthy. That hurts. I don't think I'm valuable. So of course I'm not going to let valuable people in my life. Like
right,
it's painful to be honest with yourself, but that is where rock
yeah.
bottom starts and where healing begins.
Yeah, and
So
I love that you say that because I think there's a lot of people that attract in like narcissistic partners, and believe me, I've been there, or abusive partners, or just like really, really horrible life situations. And yes, there is a moment where you can experience grief and sadness for yourself, but there is also like there's so much freedom around having accountability for your role in things. Like that's one of the biggest things in recovery is keeping your side of the street clean and looking at your part in the reality that you've created for yourself because ultimately it is a creation.
yeah, that's so true. And having the power of I didn't deserve these things, but I
Right.
was at least a co-partner in creating them, which means that I can fix them and change them too, you know?
Exactly. Totally.
Yeah. So let's talk about then, obviously, like you said, rock bottom is rock bottom and it hurts. And it doesn't matter whether you're recovering from alcohol or a relationship. Let's talk about 9 months ago. What happened nine
Mhm.
months ago?
Yeah, so I think what's really interesting is that I saw a reel. I think it was like Will Smith or something like that, and he was talking about how a similar thing happens when you hit rock bottom and when you have like a mountaintop. So, in other words, when you
Mm.
lose everything and when you achieve everything, the similar thing happens in your brain where you're wondering what else is there.
Oof.
Because all of a sudden it's like, I have everything I've ever wanted and I'm broken and I'm empty, or I've lost everything and I don't have anything. And so either way, it's like you go through this existential crisis of like, who am I and who do I really want? And that's an aside, but it kind of started for me, those questions like 2 years ago, because I built this huge business. We did over $12 million in online course sales. I had a team of 15 at like the business's height, a social media audience, the press, the network, like real estate, like everything I ever wanted. And I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't excited by what I was doing
Wow.
anymore. And so a couple of years ago, it started to kind of nag at me that my passions and my kind of soul's purpose was changing. And I'm somebody probably very similar to you, where it's like, if I'm not excited and passionate about what I'm doing, I don't have that like turn on work mode, right? Like it's all the same for me. And so 2 years ago, I started to lose a lot of my purpose in my business. And that was really scary for me because of the amount of money that I was making and
Mhm.
because I'm super heart led.
Mhm.
And so over the last 2 years, it was like I was experiencing this lack of purpose. And then that started to impact the business's results, obviously, because I wasn't in it anymore. And last year, simultaneously, I found myself in a relationship, my first healthy relationship, which I'm sure you can, relate to the journey of that.
Mhm.
Um, a very, very good man, but the dynamic of the relationship in terms of his patterns, my patterns, what was going on in both of our lives made me very disconnected from myself and super, super just lost in the relationship, like self abandoned, disconnected from myself, from my business. And so when the relationship ended last November, it was like I lost this relationship, this person that I did see as my husband. That sense of safety was gone. and the sense of safety and identity that I'd tied up in my business. Because at this point, I had like tanked the business, which is hard for me to admit, but like I've gotten past my
Wow.
ego on that. And so it was like everything that I clung on to for a false sense of safety was just ripped away from me. And it was a bottom like I'd never experienced in my life.
Ugh.
Complete dark night of the soul. I didn't know who I was, like, at all. And so really from November until, when did I start to, like, stabilize? Like, April of this year, it was, like, full dark night of the soul, full spiritual awakening that was very, very disorienting because prior to this, I was a very, grounded in reality,
Mhm.
strategic kind of person,
Mhm.
didn't really have, like, a true higher power. And so that was disorienting in and of itself, but really all of it because I gave myself the grace to just lean in and pause and not try to have all of the answers at once, really like led me back to myself. And
Oof.
so it's been this really beautiful process of like tearing down everything I once knew, like everything, evaluating everything in my life. Um, Going through this sacred pause and this sacred void is kind of like what I like to think of it as, and discovering who I am. And now I'm in a process of sort of like rebuilding my business in a way that feels aligned with me.
Oh, that's
So,
so beautiful. And honestly, like the key to everything is the willingness to surrender it and go, okay, you know what? Regardless of what this looks like, regardless of what I feel like I've lost, the one thing that I can come back to is here. It's here.
exactly.
And it may be really hard and it is a process. It is a process and it's going to move so much slower than you want it to, right?
So much slower.
So
It's
much
so
slower than you want it
uncomfortable.
to. That's the hardest part, but
It's so uncomfortable.
it is where you can slowly come back to who you really are.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm so proud of you, first of all, because it's really
Mhm.
hard to do, especially with
Yeah.
where you've been, when you've seen the potential of when I have control of everything, when I'm passionate, when I've got my shit
Yeah.
together, look what I can do, you know?
Yeah.
But being able to
Exactly.
go, okay, it didn't work out. And here we are again. That's
Yep.
hard.
Exactly. I know. It's funny because it's like you think in life when you are in control of everything and trying to always manipulate the circumstances around you and make things your way, that's how you find happiness and that's how life will feel okay to you. But it's actually in the surrender of going with the flow of things and learning how to receive. And yeah.
The receive part, that's the hard part for me
Yeah,
too.
that's the hard. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Are
I'm
you
like, I'll
experiencing that in
do.
dating and stuff?
Well,
This is my personal journey
well,
right now.
how much do I want to get into that?
Yeah.
I'm
We don't have to go
I
there.
I'm in a constant state of learning that I deserve to get back what I give to.
Mhm.
That is going to be a forever journey for me because
Yeah.
I'm such a giver. I want to love
Same.
and give and pour, and that gives me joy, and that's the hard part because it gives
Yeah.
me so much joy to do.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to have something being poured back into yourself.
Oh,
And
totally.
I struggle to like receive.
Same.
You
I'm an
know, I,
overgiver. And then it's like in relationships where you're like, "Oh, surely the more that I like give and, like take care of this person, surely it's going to come back one day." It doesn't. It's just like that person's like, "Oh, she loves to give. Ashley just loves to give constantly."
I'll take it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, I'll take it all. Yeah, keep giving to me. I love this. This is
Right,
really good
exactly.
for me.
Yeah, exactly,
And then
exactly.
I'm like
Yeah.
crying my eyes out every
Yeah.
night because I'm like,
Yeah.
but when is it my turn?
Exactly, exactly. I know. It's like in dating now too, I'm like, I have to be very cognizant of like, did they earn what I have to give? Did they earn me? Did they earn you? And going slowly and like checking in with myself yeah. And through this process too, it's like, this is the first time in my life that I've been single since November. I've gone on maybe 2 dates, kissed like nobody. Like I am celibate AF and it's the best thing ever. But like I needed this time because it's
Yeah.
like the first time I haven't had a man in my awareness since I was like 16 probably. And you do need that time alone to like really look at your patterns
Yeah.
and really heal.
I'll tell you what, I'm learning a lot about my patterns in the situation that I'm in right now.
Mm.
Like I like you, have been seeing someone who's probably the healthiest person, most secure person I've ever dated.
Yay.
And one, I'm proud of myself because I brought that in, right?
Mhm.
And so that tells me, okay, we're in a different place now.
Yeah, you're
We're in a
growing.
different place. I'm not in the same place
Mhm.
I was before because I don't even notice the kind of men that I would have given a chance to before anymore.
Yeah,
But I'm noticing my patterns and my triggers, and this more so than even the unhealthy relationships that I was in, which
totally.
is so weird. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this is embarrassing because this is good. It's secure. It's safe. I'm
yeah,
safe. My heart's
yeah,
safe. And I'm still acting erratic in certain areas when something triggers me that I didn't see coming, you know?
totally. Oh, 100%. I had that big time in my last relationship where I'm like, why am I even thinking this way? But it's important too when you have a healthy partner that like they can really help you through it as long as, you're emotionally stable, and working through things and catching
And
yourself and
self-aware.
yeah,
Yeah.
and self-aware.
Going,
Exactly.
this is a me thing. I know that. Yeah. I say that a
Exactly.
lot. I say that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, yeah. This is
I
a me
know
thing.
this is me. I know this is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just bear with me. Like,
100%. But that's how you do differently and you call on something differently. And it's like, you should be so proud of yourself because it takes a long time to rewire that stuff, like a
yeah.
really long time. I even noticed recently with myself that my, I guess, sort of pattern is like the more, I mean, it's like classic, but like the more, the more like unavailable or like if a guy's like disinterested or not like giving me the attention that I want, even though he is interested, but you know what I'm talking about. Like he's not fully present with me, the more I'm like, I gotta fight for that. I
Yeah.
gotta
I have to
prove.
earn it.
I gotta earn. Yeah, I gotta perform. And
Yeah.
I met a guy recently who like on paper was like everything that I wanted, but I could tell he wasn't fully present with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a moment where I actually felt turned off. This was like 2
Ooh.
weeks ago. I felt turned off. Like the equivalent of hanging out with like a new girlfriend who just like wasn't really there because
Mm-hmm.
I'm secure in, female friendships. I had that same feeling and I was like, "Oh, you're different now. This is
Oh,
good."
see, it's those little moments, and I want every woman to hear this.
Yeah.
Healing isn't obvious. It's not going to be this big, obvious, wow, like I'm healed. I'm so amazing. It's like these little tiny, tiny things that you pick up on and you go, oh my God, I saw this differently than I would have before. I felt that differently than I would have before. I did something different than I would have before for myself. And then you go,
Exactly.
I am healing. You know,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. I love those
Totally.
moments.
Yeah, it's, like, truly, truly the best. I, like, sent a voice note to all of my friends. I was, like, sent a voice note to my therapist. I'm like, "Guys, I've interrupted the pattern. This means my husband's on the way."
That's so true, though. It's so true. It's so true. I honestly, it's one of my favorite things about where I am in my life right now is that the idea of emotional unavailable is really unattractive to me. That was
Yeah.
never the case before. Like, that is a
Mhm.
major turnoff for me these days, where I'm
Totally.
just like, ew, no, why would I want that? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Um, but
Beautiful.
so let's go back to
Mhm.
the rock bottom place and the rebuilding. What were the things that you did? Like, what were the tools you used? What were the things that were
Ugh.
really effective for you? Because that's what I know every woman that's going to listen to this is going to go, okay, but how? But
Mhm.
how? How do I get to where Ashley is? How do I get to where Christina is? So let's talk about that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the first thing is more of a mental shift than like something you should do. So, a lot of times I think when we're in a dark place, our easiest kind of like quickest go to would be to distract, to numb, to avoid, to suppress, to date again, to like whatever. I very clearly knew in my head that this needed to be a pause. And so I was
Ooh.
in a position, luckily, where like I could stop working for a bit and like get off of social media and just like really take care of myself. And whatever that looks like for you or for anybody listening is to just take some of the burden off and really see this time as not the end. You're just in a waiting room, you're in a hallway. And as keep going, trusting that there will be light at the end of the hallway and there will be answers that come to you. And that is the ultimate lesson in trust and surrender is
Oof.
just realizing that I'm telling you, I promise you that if you are in one of those spaces, the void has a purpose. It has a
Mhm.
purpose, and it's not where your story ends. So
Mhm.
giving myself permission to sit in it. Second thing that really helped me, and I know this is probably not something that everyone wants to hear, is meditation.
Okay.
And this is really what started like my entire spiritual journey was meditation. And I committed to just like 10 minutes a day in the morning. You can use, an app like Calm or Waking Up or whatever it is. But meditation for me is not just about what is happening during the meditation, but it changes the entire way that you interface with life and the world.
Mm.
Because what it gives you is like you begin to understand that you're sort of like separate from your thoughts in a way because you can, as you're meditating, you notice your thoughts and you kind of like try to push them to the side and bring your attention back to the meditation. And it offers some space between you and your thoughts. And
Mm.
so then in everyday life, you don't attach as much to certain thoughts or feelings that you're having, and you can give yourself sort of a space in between them to recalibrate, and it also gives you a larger like window of tolerance as well. So there's just like
Mm.
more things that you can handle, and it helps your nervous system a lot. So meditation was really big for me because it helped me with those things, but it also led me down a path of just curiosity with the spiritual world. And I think that for me, finding spirituality and finding a greater meaning to things has given me a lot of peace in life. And I was never somebody that's historically religious. So I'm sure people that are religious or spiritual listening are like, yeah, that's what we've been doing this whole time, um, is finding something higher than ourselves. But that really helped me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other rock bottom things. I think that also learning to strengthen your own there's a line, right, between I think it is important to have time alone and time to connect with yourself, and time in nature has helped me a lot, but you don't
Mhm.
wanna isolate. But the reason why I say time alone I think is important is because it strengthens your intuition, because I think that when you're at a rock bottom, you're gonna get a lot of opinions from people on what to do,
Mhm.
and at the end of the day, only you know. And so I think it's important to just, like, strengthen that relationship with yourself and your intuition to know, like, what is helpful for you,
Yeah.
and then also going down sort of a path of, discovery of yourself again, and
That's so good.
is, like, the biggest thing because a lot of times when we hit rock bottoms, it's like, "Who am I? What do I want?"
Every time.
Every
Every
time,
time. Every time.
every
That's
time.
so true.
Let's take a quick break for me to tell you about Simply Worth It, a clinic of trusted nurse practitioners who are focused on personal weight management, optimizing your health, and working with what your body needs to build confidence through safe and effective medical solutions. Simply Worth It is different than all the rest because they only hire nurse practitioners, not just medical assistants or nurses. With these skilled practitioners, they are able to provide a safer, more specialized service to get you to your specific goals. They have 3 locations that are going to serve you in Wentzville, St. Peters, and South County. Visit simplyworthit.com. That's simply worth it, WURTH it.com, to set up your new patient consultation today.
I'm so glad you said that out loud. It was so interesting to hear you say those things out loud because that's exactly what it was for me too, without
Mm,
realizing it. Um, but it was a pause for me. Like my true awakening was a moment of, oh my gosh, I have to go in. I have to go in. I have to get really familiar with what's going on in here and here and here. And I did the same thing. I stopped dating for like almost 2 years.
yeah.
I unfortunately, and I see this now, I isolated because I didn't know another way, right?
Mhm.
I didn't feel
I'm
like I
similar,
had
yeah.
I didn't feel like I had people that could understand where I was at that time.
Mhm.
And so for me, there was a lot of isolation, but there was beauty in it too, because I had no other choice but to build self trust and to build self love and to rely on myself and get to a place where I was like, I can rely on myself. And I did need that, you know?
Yeah. That
Um,
self-trust piece is huge, especially after getting out of, abusive relationships or, anything like that. It's
yeah.
difficult to grow back.
Yeah, it really is. So that was the beauty of I call it my season of isolation, even though now looking back, I realized that having some sort of community or support system would have been really healthy too.
Totally.
Um, but same thing. I got with myself, and then I got really familiar with my thoughts, and I didn't meditate necessarily. I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but it was what I was doing. I
Mhm.
was taking time to sit with my thoughts and hear them and go, wait
Yeah.
a minute. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to think that way. And
Mhm.
replacing every negative thing that I thought I felt about myself with the truth, which was, I am lovable. God created me. I'm supposed
Mhm.
to be here. God loves me. I am lovable. I am valuable. And I replaced every negative thought slowly until they became real for me.
Yeah.
And that was another thing I learned too, is that just because you have those negative thoughts doesn't mean that's actually how you feel about yourself.
No.
And
Yeah.
and you can change it. And you may not believe it at first, but the more you repeat it in your mind and you replace it every single time it comes up, the more familiar your brain gets with that thought. And then it will replace it for you. That's a whole
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like it's an uphill battle to start kind of changing those thoughts and your kind of self-belief, but I think once you realize that your thoughts are just not based in reality at all, they're only based
Mhm.
on every experience you've had in your subconscious, and um, once you kind of learn to that your inner world creates your outer world, it does shift.
Yeah. And I think having the beautiful things is like seeing people like you that I felt so connected to, or someone that could inspire me to go, okay, they don't, they're no different than me. If they can do it, so can I. If they can
Totally.
learn self-love, so can I. If they can inspire people, so can I,
Totally.
and realizing that my value is just as important as anyone else's, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like change really is possible. When people are at such a point in their life where they're so done with their own shit and they're motivated and they're committed to the path, like change really is possible. A lot of people say people can't change. And it's like, yes, if you are implying your force on someone else, they probably won't change. Like they need to find it within
Yes.
themselves.
Yes.
But it's like, I think back of where I was, even like, let's say a year before I got sober, I had so much self hatred,
Yeah.
so much self hatred, so much shame, so much insecurity. Didn't leave my house. I was drinking like a bottle and a half a night, like isolating, lying. Like it has taken me a very long time to heal those parts of myself and to rise even further from there and to be like a source of light and hope for other people. But I changed
Yeah, that's right.
because I was
You
super
did.
committed.
Well, and we get two choices. We get two
Exactly.
choices at the end of the day. I can stay where I am. I can stay miserable. I can keep hating myself, which is benefiting no one.
Right.
or I can go,
Yeah.
wait a minute, maybe there's more to this. Maybe my life does matter. Maybe the
Yeah.
way that I feel about myself does matter. Maybe my life could help someone else, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it takes a lot of strength to do that too, because the thing I've learned also is that by staying kind of like miserable in your patterns, you do sort of get a secondary gain or a benefit from it sometimes. And so some people just aren't willing to like change, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just
Change this.
I was so miserable there that I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore.
Same.
I
Yeah.
don't want to hate myself anymore. I
Yeah,
don't want to
exactly.
keep ending up absolutely destroyed and heartbroken every time I date someone.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
I just didn't want it anymore. I was so sick of that I was like, I would rather lay in my bed for months on end crying it out and processing it and feeling the pain of all of the things that led me here than just do this again, you know?
Totally. And for you, this is like, I'm going to ask you a question, but you can feel free to
Okay.
be like, this is your interview.
No,
Um,
please, please.
what was the root? Do you know, like, what was the root of your relationship pattern? Like, where it kind of came from?
So there's several things. Obviously, upbringing was a part of it, but my first relationship, my first real relationship that I ever had was extraordinarily toxic and abusive and then physically abusive.
Mm,
And it was my first experience with what I thought was love. And so from that point moving forward, any relationship that wasn't physically abusive,
mm,
I thought was okay. And that was part of it. The other part was that for whatever reason, I always felt like everyone else was worthy of my love, but I wasn't worthy to receive love for whatever reason. That I was unlovable, that I was hard to love,
mhm.
but everyone else, it was easy for me to love them. So I spent my life trying to prove to people how lovable they are and how wonderful they are. And I'm going to love you more than anyone could. And I'm going to save you. I'm going to save you, not realizing
Yeah.
I need to save myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And it just left me empty. I have like this deep seated wound of feeling unlovable and unseen and like an abandonment wound that I had from, a million things. But yeah, so it's just a lifetime of trying to be a savior in everyone else's life, not realizing I needed to save myself, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, that's beautiful. And it takes a lot of courage to unwire some of that stuff. It's interesting what you said about like you thought that any relationship that wasn't physically abusive was good, because I noticed that getting out of my last relationship was my first like truly healthy relationship. And I look back at it now and I'm like, it was healthy, it was good. He was a good man. But a lot of the things that like I was very impressed by were bare minimum.
Oh, yeah. That happens.
That
Mm,
happens.
that'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
It's
do
like
it.
my baseline is just like pretty high now, because it's like I treat myself so well. Like I'm emotionally present with myself. And that's huge. So it's like you don't want you will not attract anybody that gives you less than what you give yourself, or if they do, they fall off faster.
Mhm. Yeah, that was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, was getting to a place where I was like, I actually care just as much about myself and my happiness and the way that I'm treated as I do about your happiness and the way I treat you. I care
That's
equally as
big.
much.
That's big.
And that was a huge shift for me in the way that I showed up in relationships, because before I always just cared more about them and what they needed and what they wanted and how they felt. And so I would suppress my emotions. I would suppress the way I felt. I would accommodate everything they needed and neglect myself. I would overlook any red flags and blame myself. So it was
Yeah.
just this terrible toxic cycle of, you're so worthy, even though you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to treat you like you are, and I'm just going to completely abandon and neglect myself the whole way until you get
Yep.
everything you want and need, and then I'll be left empty again. And
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
you
what's
win
the
and I
freaking
don't.
end game? Yeah, it's like, what's the end game here? Because eventually I'm going to be miserable at this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And now I'm like, no, actually, this is how I feel about this. And I realize part of it might be my own trigger, but here it is. Take it or leave it. And if you can't handle the feelings and the things that I have and the things that I want and need, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Then we're not meant to be, and that's okay too. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. The unattachment's really important. Not in a way of like not caring about somebody or not, yeah, not caring about the relationship, but the unattachment to outcome is really important too, because I
yeah.
think a lot of my pain in relationships has been like, I'm going to make this work. This is my person. This is like I'm going to like heal you. I'm going to make you feel worthy of love, and it's like so much force and attachment. It's just like if if it isn't meant to be, it isn't meant to be, and I'm okay.
Yes. Oh, gosh, that's so relatable and so true, because there is that part of me that still exists where it's like, I'm going
Yeah.
to make it work.
Yeah.
You're going to heal.
Yeah.
And so am I. And
Yeah.
we're perfect. Like that part of the over lover girl in me still exists very much.
Oh, totally.
But
Yep.
it's that balancing of always coming back to the grounded part of me that's like, okay, I do really want those things. I do really love this person. I do really want this to work out and this to be like the game over. But if it's not, that's okay too.
Mhm.
And if we're not in alignment, it's actually better if it doesn't, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like you want to find out sooner rather than
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been so like, I feel like we're just chatting, having a girl chat.
I know. I'm sorry if I took your interview off the rails, but
No, I had a friend on a few weeks ago and she asked me a bunch of questions too. And it was great. It's actually
love
kind of
it.
nice. You know?
I know. It is so nice because sometimes I feel like with interviews, it's like QA, QA, QA. And it's like, I want to get to know you too. So,
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else that you feel is just like,
Yeah.
this is a message I want to put out in the world and this is what I want people to learn about themselves?
Oh, God. The pressure's on.
It could be really simple, like eat more ice cream, but you decide.
Huh.
Is that me or is that you?
It's me. There's a landscaper.
Oh, was like, is that a lawnmower or a motorcycle? I
Yep.
can't decide.
I'm sorry that you can hear that. That's so annoying. It just like picked up in the background.
It's okay, girl. That's real life.
I don't know. Give me like a category of something.
Okay. So if you could take a look at all the experiences that you've had, you've been at rock bottom more than once, so have I, many times, which to anyone listening, that's normal. Like, and it's always a blessing in disguise, even though it hurts. But if you could just sum up the message you want to leave, just the message of what you wish if you could go back to your 20-year-old version of yourself and go, hey, here's what you should know.
Yeah.
What would that be?
I wrote this note a few weeks before I got sober in April 2021. I wrote a note on my phone while I was sitting in, it's hilarious. I was sitting in the one hotel South Beach, like $700 a night. And I was just like wasted alone on the bathroom floor. My boyfriend at the time was like out on a walk. And I was just like drinking tequila, crying in the bathroom. And I wrote a note on my phone that said that I had spent my life trying to get happy from the outside in and thinking that if I just painted my house externally very beautiful, that eventually that beauty would seep in, and that I had a feeling that I was doing it wrong the whole time.
Oof.
And this is before I even started on my sobriety journey. And so there's part of me that's like, I was channeling something because I had no way to know that that's what I was doing. And so I think that's my message to everybody, is that like the joy and the peace and the happiness that you're after is an inside out job. And the more you take care of yourself and you set your emotion for the day and let the world rise up to meet you, rather than being so affected by whatever is happening in your life, like that is really the path to what you're looking for.
That's amen. That's one of my mottos that I give myself now is I matter too. And when I live by I matter too, I'm happier and I have more to give, you know?
Yeah.
That's so
Exactly.
good. That's so good. Well, I'm so proud of you. And
You too, girl.
if you hit rock bottom again, and you might, and so might I,
Pray no more.
come to me.
Yeah. But it's like, now we know what to do. I know the systems, like I got a plan for my bottom.
That's so true. That's so true. I've like had a tough week last week, and I was just like, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to be okay this time because I genuinely know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I made a joke to a friend the other day. I'm like a cockroach. I'll just survive like whatever apocalypse.
Well, you're a very beautiful cockroach.
Well,
we'll
thank
start
you.
there.
You too. You too.
I'd like to think of myself as a butterfly, but whatever. That's the season I'm in.
That's probably. Yeah, it depends on the day you catch me, whether I'm a butterfly and chrysalis or a cockroach.
I think you're a butterfly.
I think I'm a butterfly too.
I'm not seeing cockroach vibes at all.
I'm dead. I'm very self-deprecating. I was like, and she's like, what are you talking about?
But you will survive. That is true. You'll always come back to yourself, and you'll always know the way, and you'll always find yourself back where you need to be. And that's the beauty of life, is that it is like this, but what a journey. We learn so much.
The thing that I take a lot of comfort in is like the duality of life as well. Like your capacity to feel the darker emotions is equal opposite to how much joy you can feel. So by numbing the darkness, you limit your capacity for joy too.
That's a whole episode right there.
Yeah, I got a lot of emotions on either end. I'm sure you do
Same.
too. So.
I literally, sometimes I'm like, God, though, but why? Like, why do I have to feel things so deeply? Like, why doesn't anyone else feel this deeply? Like,
yeah. It's your gift
I'm a
to
feeler.
The world. Same. I'm like, if I'm outside of this emotional range, I'm crying. Like if the sky's too pretty, I'm crying.
Literally cry about everything, good or bad. That's just who we are these days.
Yep. I love it.
Like I literally love a tadpole with all my heart. Like I'm like, please help me to stop loving this much. You know?
Exactly. The string of X's makes sense.
Right. And they all had a great experience. You know, they have great experiences. But I'm always like, how did I end up here again?
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well,
I feel you.
more work to do, more lessons to learn. But anyway, well, I
100%.
am so proud of you, and you are so beautiful inside and out. You really are
Thank
beautiful
you.
inside and out, and you are truly just such a blessing to so many. And I'm so proud of you for the way that not only you've had to hit rock bottom and come back out of it again, but that you're sharing it with the world. That you're not just keeping that to yourself, that you're helping other
Mhm.
people see the path before
Yeah.
them and maybe get through it a little bit easier, which is my whole purpose too, is just if my experience can help you maybe not have to go to the depths that I did, then that's my goal. And
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing what you're doing and what we're doing as human beings to get back. And so I'm proud of you. And I
No,
see
that's
you.
so beautiful. I'm so proud of you too. Somebody said this to me the other day that the strongest people can alchemize like pain into love, but then
Oh,
to like use that love to serve the broader collective is something that you're doing, obviously. And it's just a really, really beautiful thing to do. Like, that's
yeah.
what an impact to leave on the world,
I think that's the sign of true healing right there. I do.
that to
When
create
you've
more pain. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's the sign of true awakening that, like, you really truly have awoken to, like, the whole point, you know?
literally the entire point. Yeah.
Well, without further ado, thank you again. How can people find
Thank
you?
you. I'm on Instagram at Christina Galbato, and my podcast is called She's Wealthy. Well
Ooh.
being WELL, wealthy.
Ooh,
Yeah, a little fun twist on words. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for having me on.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on today, and I'm
Thank you.
sure I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
See you later, girly.
Bye.